Hey guys, welcome into today's video. Today we're going to be talking about a brand that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. I have heard about this brand from other people's channels, but they don't specifically feature a lot of the products that are new releases. This brand is Kiko Milano. So if you're unfamiliar with Kiko Milano, it is an Italian-based beauty brand. It was founded in 1997. They're not listed in kind of the affordable category. They're definitely like mid-range prices. They are sold on Ulta's website. This is just a brand. I have been trying a lot of the products recently and they have been really good quality. Around the end of the year, I noticed that they were kind of rebranding because a lot of their stuff on Ulta's website was going on sale. At the end of the year in 2022, they launched their like Enchanted holiday collection. So I picked up a couple of things from that collection. It got me going on purchasing some more of their items from like subsequent collections because the quality was just so good. One of the things that I noticed from Kiko's collection is that they have some of the most unique lip products that I have ever seen from brands, and they do it so frequently in their launches that I'm like, every time they have a new launch, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get that lip product. It's just so cool. I do have at least one that's just kind of awesome and very unique in my collection that I want to show today. They also had a Powerful Love collection for Valentine's, and I picked up a couple of items from there, but their most recent launch is called the Beauty Essentials, and I think I picked up probably the most items from this launch. I definitely haven't tried their eyeshadow, so that is something that I want to do today. I will be listing all of the products that I am using today down in the description box, as well as a link to their website. So let's get started. Yeah, I definitely wish that more people were talking about this. It's just a brand that I really like to purchase a lot of their products because their quality is just so good, because I personally like using them in like my personal life. That's just how I feel about their quality. So I've picked up 6 things. I've picked up a 2-in-1 blurring primer and perfecting powder, Silky Luminous blush, an eyeshadow palette. I picked up a radiant concealer and then 2 lip products. I do have my base on, I do have my brows on, but I didn't put on concealer. So let's go into this concealer. All of this packaging is like ombre. It's pink to green. It's really simple, simplistic. All of these products were made in Italy and they all have a 12-month shelf life with the exception of the concealer, which only says 6 months. Here is the little concealer. It's really cute. It's the kind that has the metal tip on the end. So I think it's supposed to be like cooling, correcting, and concealing kind of all in one. So I want to try this just under the under eyes. I have mine in the shade 02. So I think this will be like a good shade even for spot concealing. We shall see. I'm just going to pick it up on my Rare Beauty concealer brush. I definitely think I picked up too much because this is going pretty far. I'm going to bounce it in with my sponge. I should have just put it on one eye. It only classifies itself as a radiant concealer on the box, and I cannot remember if this was supposed to be like light to medium coverage. I don't know if I would apply this directly to my eye, simply because I kind of feel like, oh, it is cooling though. Simply because I feel like it kind of gets a little bit messy. I have some beauty products that are like that, and sometimes I just feel like the application is just a little bit messy. And so I did just pick it up from the back of my hand. I would say this is a very light to medium coverage. I say that it feels very hydrating. I would not say that I see a ton of radiance, but yeah, it's just kind of a light to medium coverage. As we're applying the makeup before us, I'll kind of like be able to tell whether or not it starts to crease under my eyes. Usually light to medium coverage concealers don't do that. So far, this just kind of seems like an everyday concealer. Nothing stood out to me about this. This is the first time I'm trying like a liquid base product from Kiko. So first impressions, okay. I know they do a really good job with like their powder products. All of their blushes are like the perfect Italian powder quality that you would hope for. And because I did my foundation before starting, I'm just gonna use the powder as like a finishing powder. All of the other like base products and eyeshadow palette are in this kind of packaging. So the eyeshadow is in green, and the 2 like base products, the powder and the blush, are in the pink. They all do come with little mirrors on the inside. Here is the primer and finishing powder. It's very fine and smooth because it's just that baked formula. I think that what I'm gonna try and do with this is just pick it up on my sponge. I don't think it's gonna pick up on a powder brush. And I'm just gonna kind of use this to set. That's actually a beautiful finishing powder. There's nothing heavy about it. It's like air. So if you have dry skin, I think this would work really well. I hate heavy powders. I've decluttered a lot that are really popular because people say that they're great, but they just look like a hot cakey mess on me. And this is like, did I even put anything on? Like I can tell that I did, and it feels really smooth when I'm like patting it in, but it didn't feel like I actually put on any powder. Like, mind you, it's not a setting powder, it's a finishing powder, but it looks gorgeous. And I think it actually offered just like a teeny tiny bit of coverage. That's usually the two things that I look for, right? Finely milled, not too heavy in one. And then the second thing is like that it offers just a teeny tiny bit of coverage. And sometimes I even like to set with like a light powder foundation because I feel like they just lock in my makeup a little bit better. I just think this is gorgeous and like airbrushing, I don't know, just good Italian quality. This is something I could see myself like not featuring on my channel like every time because people don't talk about this brand very often, but something that I would grab for in my personal life. And that's kind of why I want to try these today, because that's just what Kiko's turned out to be for me. I don't have a bronzer from them. I don't think they launched a bronzer in this line. So I'm just gonna throw on bronzer really quickly because I wanna do this blush. I'm really excited to try this blush. It is a Luminous blush, and their blushes have been some of my favorite products from the launches that I've picked up because they are just so creamy, so airbrushing, really pigmented. So I have high hopes for this. So again, it's in the pink packaging, different kind of design in here, but very beautiful. Same mirror on the inside. This one doesn't look super pigmented. I do have mine in the shade 01 Vibrating Beige. I think I wanted this color because it just like seemed unique in my collection, just a beigey, very, very light pink, but they had other shades, like darker, more like pigmented, but the beige just looked really interesting. Some of my favorite blushes have been like beiges. Laura Mercier has like a couple that ended up being some of the most natural looking flushed colored blushes. So I think that's why I wanted to pick this up because I have some more like deeper oranges from Kiko. And I think this was kind of a different color for me. There's definitely a lot of kickback. This is a powder product. It's not baked like the finishing powder, but it is luminous. It looks really natural for someone who's got fair skin. And it's not like that baby pink that I just don't like on my cheeks. The baby pink always makes me feel like I look flushed and sick. And I always conceal all the pink on my face when I'm putting foundation and concealer on. And so I really dislike putting pink back on. And so I usually go for something that's more nude or orange or something that just isn't pink, I guess. But you can see the luminosity. It looks so airbrushing. Like it's just good quality Italian powder. I don't know what else to say. Like they just do a good job. All of these products never seem like revolutionary. They just remind me of what I think beauty quality should be. So I'm hoping the next product is that way as well. Let's move on into the eyeshadow palette. It's very small. These pan sizes are pretty teeny tiny, pretty neutral color story, but I don't know. Some of these shimmers look so delightful. I can't wait. I can't wait to touch them. So let's swatch a couple of these. This is like my kind of color story. It goes really light, really deep, some interesting marbled shimmers, and then a really light shimmer. I love that. I love when they have a deepening matte, a really light matte, a really light shimmer, and then a pretty deep shimmer. So this is like my color story in a tiny, tiny little palette. And this is something that you could easily travel with. I don't mind palettes like this. I think they're great. This one in the corner here looks very brown, but I think this one here and this one here will pull more mauve on me. It doesn't exactly kind of like match the shirt that I'm wearing, but I don't really care if that I can change. So I'm gonna start with this one as a transition. I think I'm gonna try and build this one up in the crease. I'm gonna avoid this brown, other than maybe my lower lash line for now, and then I'm gonna deepen with this shade. I'm gonna test this shade for sure, and then I'm gonna go with this one more towards the inner corner of my lid. But I do wanna swatch basically the shimmers because I wanna see what kind of consistency they are. That's usually like the biggest deal for me in a palette is how the quality shimmers are. I don't know, because I get decent mattes and they just don't excite me quite as much as I think shimmers do. So here's that marbleized one. Man, it was so soft. It doesn't even feel like anything's on my finger. I will say though, these tiny pan sizes make it hard for my fat little fingers to get in there. That's that very light shimmer. I am now like swatching over the blush. Oh well, here's that pinky shimmer. They're not very pigmented. They're nice feeling, like they're super, super soft and airy, but they don't have like a whole lot of pigmentation on my swatches anyway. We will see what they look like getting them to my eye because it was really hard for me to get my finger in there. because I have such big fingers and my fingers are bigger than like the pan sizes. And we'll see how much fallout we get. I do get a lot of kickback with it, but we're just gonna do the same look on both eyes. I'm just taking that lighter shade in the corner and building it as a transition. I'm always afraid with shades like this because they don't tend to pull on me very well. They just tend to be kind of a wash because they're, you know, similar to my skin tone. But I'm getting a little bit of pigmentation with this, which is kind of what I was hoping. Like if they do the undertone well enough and don't just make it like this neutral nude nothing shade, then they usually do pull on me. But I'd say that like this is pretty true to what's in the pan, and I'm getting like the slightest bit of pigmentation. They are ultra powdery though. Now the one in the dead center, I'm going to try and build up in the crease and just give it a little bit of color. I was actually hoping to go pretty deep with this palette and push it to its limits. So that's what I'm gonna try and do, because I can already tell naming this Beauty Essentials and it just kind of being more of a neutral launch for them, that I was gonna get a pretty light kind of neutral looking eye look. And I'd like to take this palette where it can go. And these shadows do have talc in them. The other two, the blush and the finishing powder, do not. If that's not something that you like, or if talc bothers you, just know that the eyeshadow palette does have talc in it. I think that that is it. Now I'm going to build it up in the outer corner with a packer brush. With that corner shade here, I hope this pulls a little bit more, I don't know, magenta or red on me. Okay, yeah, it's pulling a little bit burnt, but not too brown, which is what I didn't want. It's packing nicely. It's pretty pigmented. It makes a big mess like inside here when you're picking up these shadows, because there's a lot of fallout. So yeah, like I said, this is the first time that I've tried a eyeshadow formula from Kiko. I'm interested to see how this blends, because there are some shadows that once you're done packing and like you start blending, it goes to nothing. And I'm kind of worried that this particular shade is gonna do that. Yeah, like you can see it just kind of fading. I'm not gonna lie, like this is turning into kind of the shade and pigmentation that I don't care for. I want like a deep outer corner, and I want to be able to like blend the edges without blending the whole shade away, and it's blending the whole shade away. And it is like a little bit patchy. Don't get me wrong, like I like a natural look for going to work, but I've been wearing so many different shadows lately from so many different brands, like including indie brands, you know, just all over the place, that I kind of feel like my expectation of how deep or how far I can take a palette has like changed. Like I want something that I can go super deep and unique with, even though this is something like a color story wise I would grab for on an everyday basis. I just feel like I'm getting a lot of patchiness on this eye especially. I can see this being you getting a really, really kind of neutral look out of it. So now I'm gonna take that marbled shade and I'm gonna start building it here in the middle or the center of the eye. I'm just doing my normal eye look. This marbled shade is beautiful though. You're even getting like a duochrominess. It's light, but like it has that marbled effect that it is like duochromy, and it's pretty light reflecting. I'm just using a silicone brush if you're wondering, because I have such big fingers. I've picked these up to test these out and I'm kind of loving them. So long as like the shimmer will pick up on it, because they don't always. Now I'm going in with that goldy light shade. It's okay. It's okay. Like that's kind of all I can say about it. The shimmers are really powdery, so there's kind of a lot of fallout happening. I wouldn't say that they're the most light reflecting, and they're kind of chunky. Like this is not my favorite eyeshadow formula. I kind of imagined it being a very light, airy, wispy, everyday reached for kind of palette. It's just that it's really powdery. There's kind of a lot of fallout. It's not something that I feel like you could get a lot of depth out of. I think it's good for everyday use. I don't think it was bad. I do not like that one deepening shade that I was using, because I kept building and building and building. It just isn't giving the kind of pigmentation and depth that I really like. I mean, I hate to say that, but I usually like a bit more pigmentation. I'd rather it be more pigmented and then I work backwards, you know, or I go in lighter, then I keep building and I go in to build it up. That's my personal preference. I need to clean this up. I want to do the lower lash line. I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to take like this deep shade for the lower lash line and in the outer corner, I don't know, and probably the one in the dead center, kind of on the inner corner. And then we'll come back and I want to try the 2 lip products that I picked up. Okay, so I finished up the eye look. I didn't put any lashes or anything. I just put on some mascara. So I want to go into these 2 lip products. The first one is not as cool as the next or the last one or the second one or whatever, but this is the 3D Effect Lip Gloss. I have swatched this. It is really pretty though. This one is in the shade 02. I'm gonna swatch it again. It has like a tiny doe foot applicator with just a little bit of a flat tip. I don't know if you can see it swatched there, but it's like this light pink and it's like iridescent. So I want to try this one first. Like I said, I have loved all of their lip products. They have just been like so unique and comfortable. And I noticed that some of the launches on their lip products from like the Powerful Love collection, like some of them are still available, but then a lot of them are already gone off their website. And I just think that they've probably sold out. So I think there are people that do know that these lip products exist, but they are just so unique, you guys. They're just tremendously unique in my collection. Some of the lip balms are like in bullets and they're really glittery and beautiful looking. Some of them are like swirled. I don't know. They're all just really good quality and really fun. This has like a tingly effect. Is this supposed to be plumping? This feels plumping. It definitely feels tingly, like the minty kind of tingly. And it's really pretty. Like it's a really pretty gloss. It's not overly sticky at all. It's comfortable. I'm sorry, the fan is on because I start getting hot up here and then my hair just starts moving around in the fan and I apologize. But yeah, it's really comfortable. It just feels like a plumping gloss, honestly. I want to try the next one. This one isn't going to have any color to it, but it's the Nourishing Lip Balm. But look at this packaging. On the inside of it, you guys, it has like little bits of flowers. Isn't that so cool? And they are just loose in here. And I don't know if these are actual flowers or if they're just like, you know, thrown in here and meant to look like it, but they are loose. None of them seem to come out when I pull the applicator out, but it's just a clear balm. Okay, I'm going in. Oh my God, that feels like you're putting butter on your lips. Like butter. Careful. This is slippery. OMG. Oh my God. This is the most comfortable glossy balm I've ever put on my lips ever. It has like a taste to it. It's really strong. It's really perfumey, really floral. Yeah, it's in my mouth. It's in my mouth now. It's in my mouth. If I was gonna describe the way this feels in any sort of way, it would be like I took grease and just lined my lips, or like oil from a baking pan or something, and just literally applied this to my lips. This is the most silky lip oil I have ever used. It's very thin, very comfortable. It's the kind that I could see not staying very long on my lips because I would just spend all day going like this. It's not just pretty, it's really, really, really comfortable. But the taste is like, you gotta like eating flowers or like spraying perfume in your mouth. Like it's strong, you guys. It is strong. All right, let's do a final wrap up on everything. I'll kind of tell you a little bit about how I feel about each of the products and not in too much depth. I've kind of talked about them a little bit already, but I'll start off with the eyeshadow palette. It was probably my least favorite. I don't think that I came up with a bad look. It's just that I can get this look with like 9,000 other palettes I have in my collection. And I think that the shade that I was using here in the corner was a little bit difficult to build up what I was kind of looking for in terms of like the opacity, and I felt like it was getting a little patchy on this eye. I don't think it was anything revolutionary. I think the shimmers were okay. Like they're not the most light reflecting. They were a little bit chunky. The eye look came out good though. Good for an everyday wear. And that's really all that I can ask for a palette of this price point, and something this small and compact. Is like, is it gonna perform if I take it traveling? Is it gonna perform for my everyday wear? Mostly, right? Because there are some palettes that I really like for like YouTube and other things, because I'm really looking for the good quality. I don't think this is the really good quality. I think it's just okay. I think it's good. I think it's decent. I like this color story. This is just a color story that's like mauvey, nudie, pinky, something I reach for all the time. Something that is even good for like spring, because I like a lot of pinks in spring, and we're almost in spring at this point. I just didn't think the quality was fantastic. I thought it was okay. But the finishing powder was beautiful. It was so lightweight. I couldn't even tell that I was putting it on, but I could tell that it was like airbrushing my face. It's that great like baked formula. It's just so finely milled, you guys. You can't go wrong, I think, with kind of like a baked, really finely milled finishing powder. The blush was beautiful. It's not super pigmented shade. I definitely have like other blushes in my collection that are more pigmented, but I wanted to add to my collection with this one in light beige because I thought it was like a unique color, and I think that it was definitely like unique and nice, and I enjoyed it. I even have blushes from Kiko, like 2 other blushes that are much more pigmented, but I think it was good, honestly. Again, great Italian powder formula, can't go wrong. I think the concealer is just meh, like meh. Like it was all right. It wasn't great. I can see it creasing under this eye for sure. It's not creasing badly, but it's not creasing, and it's also not the most coverage either. It was a light to medium coverage, and yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like your like everyday concealer, but it didn't stand out for me, and I feel like with a lot of concealers, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Like if it's gonna be full coverage, it's super hydrating, or, you know, it's medium weight, but it offers medium coverage, but, you know, it gives more radiance. I don't know, I didn't find the radiance in this, and I don't necessarily love the application. I love a doe foot applicator when it comes to a concealer, so that's my personal preference. I think the concealer is a pass. I'd be willing to try other base products from Kiko, but I'm not immediately blown away by this. Their lip products, I'm just like in love with. Overall, I don't dislike any of the lip products that they have in their lines, and so I feel like I'm gonna be stuck buying the lip products from all the new launches that they come out with because they're just so good. This one was really comfortable. The 3D Effect lip gloss, I thought it was really like iridescent and nice, and I like the shade. I don't know, that was just good for me. That's a throw in your purse. Like I could wear that at work, and it just offers something. Like it just gives you a little bit of yeah. But this one's unique. This one though tastes like a flower, so I can't tell you how much it's still lingering in my mouth, more than just telling you it's lingering in my mouth. But it's so beautiful and unique, and it is the softest lip oil I have in my entire collection. And I've got a couple of lip oils. I might have more than a couple of lip oils, but anyway, the point is, this is the softest one ever. But that scent, you guys will hate it if you do not like something that is that floral. Overall, I'm still a fan of the Kiko stuff. Love the lip product. I'm a fan of the powder products. The eyeshadows just aren't my favorite. Concealer was a pass for me. That was it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know a lot of people don't talk about Kiko Milano, but you know, I think they're a really good brand. I think they're worth trying out. I still get my hits and misses from them, but overall I still enjoy them. I don't ever regret buying. Not even the eyeshadow palette do I regret picking up. Not even the concealer do I regret picking up. I think I'll still reach for this, but it's hard to say that it's going to stand out in my mind because I have quite a big collection and quite a few concealers that I really do enjoy. I don't think that's going to be the most reach for concealer for me, but you know, I don't regret picking it up. It's definitely one that I'll use again. I actually hope you guys do go to their website and check out some of the lip products that they have, or go to Ulta's website. I do find that more of their unique lip products actually are on their website as opposed to Ulta, because they have just a bigger variety there. So I hope that you guys check it out and that you find something that you like. Like I said, I will list everything in the description box below. I am out of here, you guys, and I will catch you all in my next video. Bye.